All right, Paul, maybe a couple of words about yourself?
Well, how I came to this video was I had a transformation a few years ago where I lost a lot of weight and I was not very active on the dating scene. So when I moved to Dublin last year, I decided to get myself a dating coach. Enter David. I've been watching your content for a few years and then realised that you were located in Dublin. So here we are.
Awesome. What prompted you to start this? How was your situation before?
So I had been doing some online dating before I lost the weight. I was obese for pretty much 20 years of my life. And after I lost the weight, and this was post-COVID when restrictions had lifted and social events and gatherings were back on, I got a different reaction from social settings to my new appearance and newfound confidence, and wasn't quite equipped to harness that newfound attention, so to speak, especially from a dating standpoint. And I went back onto online dating with some new pictures of me in my new clothes and going to new social events, and I got more of a better response, but yet didn't have quite I couldn't navigate the communication through it. So that was something I was missing. You know, so there was gaps to fill there, you know.
Yeah. And how's your situation now?
Vastly different since going through your program and learning the nuances of communication in general, not just in the dating, but just in social situations in general. It has helped the more natural side of things with in-person and going to events and stuff like that. Whilst online dating was a big part of my dating life, it had reduced. I'm in a relationship now, but it had reduced heavily. Good stuff, thanks, man. It had heavily reduced down beforehand because I had gotten much better in-person interactions with people, whether that be just day-to-day going about what I'm doing, or specifically going on a night out. I don't drink at all now, but I've also learned through your in-person tutelage that I don't need to drink on a night out to actually.
Because it was funny,
myself.
we were sitting. I was in with a friend in the burrito place near Temple Bar. That's right. And we ran into each other at night, and then you guys were, that was like a long time ago, and you guys went out together. And then like one thing that we emphasized, like no alcohol, because you really realize you don't need it. And people, it's such an ingrained part of society. People think they actually need it. But then when they realize, I think, you can tell me why you were drinking, but I think people only drink because they want the good feeling, they want the confidence, and that's basically it. Were there any other reasons why you were drinking before that come to mind? Other than just wanting to feel good, as in a reduction in the perceived levels of stress, more positive emotions, and just a sense of confidence, right? Because a lot of guys, I can't even go and approach. I can't even go and, even just on a date, to have a drink or two to get more into the flow, right?
Yeah, that's it. I definitely, like, through my own health transformation and then actually going into the fitness industry as a second career myself, I've shattered that cultural aspect of drinking. I think that's the overarching thing for me as an Irish person, is that it's just a done thing. Whether or not I was actively using it to go, oh, I'm going to go out now and I have these 4 pints, therefore, if I see a girl, happy days.
It wasn't conscious, probably. It wasn't the conscious thing. It wasn't a conscious decision. Yeah. Like in Germany as well, it's like a culture thing, right? Everybody, it's just, you just do it.
Exactly. So, but then if the situation arose or song came on and you needed to go out and dance, it was there as that social lubricant for that. But there's several disadvantages then after the fact to drinking. For me now, it just has no utility. It doesn't bring anything to the table. I can go out and be clear-minded and have as good a time without alcohol, and actually be more switched on socially, because alcohol just sort of, after a while it just dumbs you down a bit. You know, you're not fully tuned into everything, you know, and plus it destroys the following day. Like you basically you reduce productivity for the day after. So to be able to get up now, and my girlfriend now, actually, she doesn't drink at all either.
Awesome.
Which is fantastic. So I remember we we were away there recently, and getting up early in the morning, fresh head, ready to go and sightsee or whatever it may be. It's fantastic. Instead of spending half the day hungover.
That's one of the things that I do with Fernando that I notice as well, because I never drank a lot, but then every now and then we drank a little bit. So I never drank a lot because I was training karate all the time and I was teaching in Maynooth, right? But Fernando and I, we sometimes have this where our date nights become date days. Did you ever notice that? When it's not so much about the drink. For example, I can't be in a pub and just be there passively listening to music for more than 15 minutes. I'm going crazy. It's just too passive for me. And especially with me, be like, okay, I guess I'm not gonna approach then, you know? Like, all right, obviously I'm not gonna when I'm with Fernanda, right? But it's very difficult, so it needs to be active. So for us, be gym, maybe sauna, maybe go for a walk. Because because a dinner also becomes fucking boring at some stage. You're gonna go dinner for a bit, but is that really the only date activity at some stage? Oh, I'm just gonna go for a dinner. So for me and her, we had to actually just find things to do together. Like bachata and salsa is amazing, right? But to be honest, I also really like, for me, I say to her, best date night, film videos. She's just like, that doesn't count. I was like, okay, fair enough.
Ideally.
You know? Yeah. What do you guys do together?
But that's it. It's what I've learned as well is that when you're in the dating stage and you're getting to know somebody, if you try and invent all of these activities that you wouldn't normally do, all of a sudden for someone that you're trying to get to know, then it's just not as natural. So there's things I like to do, like go to the hydrotherapy pool, go to the sauna, self-care, go for a nice walk, whatever it may be. So there's those things plus we like this place to eat dinner. But I will bring her along to these activities that I do anyway. Bring them into your life, because if they're not going to, because then they can say, oh, well, I don't like doing X, Y, and Z. And then you find out quickly enough if they're actually going to fit into your daily life. If they like going to the gym or, you know,
cooking together, meal prep or something.
Exactly. So I'm like, right, we're gonna make a meal. Can you prepare this? I'll prepare that, and it's teamwork.
And there's no issue, there's no argument. You don't have to tell her to do that. You're not putting her in the kitchen or anything. No. It's just understood that, okay, we share different roles, and maybe you'll do this, maybe I'll do that, maybe you'll do the dessert, I'll do the start, whatever, right? Yeah. But it's like, how is it in a relationship? I would assume now it feels, if you compare your current relationship to previous experiences you've had, how is it in terms of like ease and peaceful, like in terms of just different attributes?
It's fantastic, because it's much easier, because I've learned how to filter the characteristics in someone that will best fit into my lifestyle. Yeah. And someone who would, like my girlfriend will have things about her lifestyle that I find interesting that I'm not doing at the moment. And I'm like, all right, I'll give that a try. You know, these ideas just sprout through conversation. She might say, have you tried this? Have you tried cooking that? Have you ever eaten this? And it's like, aha, right, well, let's go to Tesco's and make it now, or let's make it this evening. So it's all about, it's not just being rigid about it, but generally, if it's an activity or something to do that's healthy and is just positive for the two of us, and it's not like, it doesn't have an exhausting impact. Like I wouldn't date anybody or be in a relationship with anybody who was heavy into nights out, going clubbing or drinking.
There's all kinds of downsides to that.
Yeah, so that's a fine example. So I'm much better equipped now to actually filter out for the attributes that I like in someone. Yeah.
And I get it. With Fernanda, it's the same. She likes going to pubs and listening to live music. Because Ireland has amazing live music, my goodness. But like, she wouldn't go to clubs by herself. And I'm not saying that women as a whole shouldn't do this. I'm saying for who I want to be with, and I assume you as well, that just doesn't work, for a variety of reasons. Talking about the coaching process itself, because some of it we did in person, but most of it is obviously online. And most of the people who watch this, for them, it's just online. How was that for you?
The most fantastic thing for me is that it's it's a way to actually, like, especially on the group coaching calls, is to actually see the people out there who are potentially struggling with the same things that you were, meeting and listening to like-minded people. And it's not to say like they might have a deficit in a skill set that I have, which we're there to work on through the program, but you actually see just in real time what people are trying to navigate, and you can learn a lot. You mightn't realize that you're having an issue with something until you hear one of the other participants in the program talking about it, and you're like, yeah, Jesus, that did happen
Exactly,
to me.
yes.
You know?
Because there's things we know we don't know, and there's things we don't know we don't know. Same with weight loss. Yeah, it's just a calorie deficit. Yeah, technically it's just a calorie deficit. But to get there, it's 80% mindset. And then there's strategies around it with fiber, with protein, with a million other things that you know a lot better than I do. But it's so much of it is mindset.
That's it. It's basically, it's like any set of techniques or skills to achieve a goal. If you don't do them consistently over a period of time without expecting results overnight, well then it's up to you how consistently you do them, and that's how slow or how fast you will get to the goal.
Yeah.
It's like anything. It's like the dating skill set. It's like weight loss, building muscle, fitness, whatever it may be. It applies to everything. Yeah. It applies to everything. And going into the program was basically, it's like asking people to hire my coaching services for fitness. And I talk about it in terms of getting your car fixed by a mechanic. It's like, well, you're not going to put your car up on blocks and start to take the engine apart yourself. You go to a mechanic to get it sorted out. So people need to hire fitness professionals to get their lifestyle.
Because they think they can do it themselves, and then they get injuries, and then they theoretically, if somebody spends years and years trying to do something themselves, it's very difficult to. You can learn it, but it might take 7 to 10 years. Genuinely, right? I say that to people, and certain things you might never learn because you need outside feedback, because you're blind to your own mistakes. I say, okay, people have 2 knees, but just because I have 2 knees, that doesn't make me a knee surgeon if your knee was broken, right? Same with dating and relationships, same with fitness. Everybody has an opinion on it, which I completely understand and I have empathy for, of course, because everybody judges it based on their personal reference experiences. But that's your subjective point of view. That's anecdotal evidence. It means nothing in the grand scheme of things if you don't have data.
That's it. It's just a series of circumstances that came about throughout my life where I didn't have the right skill set for dating. It was, I could start to say it was because I was XYZ, I was the way I was, but at the same time, technically I could have pursued gaining that skill set at any point over the last 20 years. I could have, even as an obese person, I could have done it. But for other reasons and mindset, going back to that, there was a mental block to that amongst all the other skill sets I've learned in my self-improvement journey: weight loss, building muscle, daily habits, steps, the right amount of sleep. All of this is it's culminated. So getting dating and communication skills locked in as best I can in a short space of time, that was a huge piece of the puzzle for me to be more well-rounded as a person, to be able to find the right person instead of spending a longer amount of time maybe not meeting the right people. Because what I've learned at starting my journey of self-improvement at 33, now 36, I feel 25 by the way, happy days, is that...
Yeah, your energy is super high.
That's it. So it's a time, very conscious that, look, I could spend, as you say, 7, 8 years learning a skill set, but it's not that I have 7 or 8 years, but it's best just to get these things done in an efficient manner. There's no need to dwell about it, like, you know.
And if somebody's a bit unsure whether they should do this or not, what would you say?
Oh, absolutely go for it. It's the thing is that if you're fortunate enough to be around people in your life down through the years who potentially could have given you nuggets of these skill sets, they won't give you what's available in a program like yours, but you might have had siblings or cousins or friends that were better equipped with the skills, but you're not going to get a holistic view of it. You know, it'd be like, oh, John, my friend, he's really good at.
Yeah.
When he's out dancing, he can. Or, you know.
Yeah, in a particular context where he has status or he's drunk or this or there. And then sometimes guys who are good at a skill set, even if they're good, which first of all I would doubt, because just because somebody's in a relationship doesn't mean they're happy. Just because somebody can every now and then get something doesn't mean it's replicable. But they mightn't even be good teachers. Same with fitness, right? How many people are there who are thin, who don't know how to teach weight loss? I would say most people. Or in the gym, there's a bunch of people who are jacked and they get the result themselves, but they wouldn't be able to teach it. It's a different skill set.
That's it. So and the funny thing is that you have to look back without regret, but in retrospect, actually looking back and the skill set that I have now and the knowledge I have now, actually applying it to past situations to go, that's why, say for example, if you know a couple who have great longevity and have been together for a long time, or you know couples that are not together anymore, or there was divorces, or there was whatever, I can look back now with that lens and go, now I know. I can sort of diagnose.
And you'll see it so much quicker now, isn't it? That when you see a man and a woman interact, even just from the outside very briefly, that you're like, uh-oh. Like for example, yesterday we went dancing with the boys. There was some bachata thing in the bottom of some pub, and then at the top, you could just get drinks or something. So I get my Sprite 0 calories still, right? And there's a guy sitting with a girl, and she's telling a story, and you can see when somebody's like, he's like, oh yeah, oh, like, you know, typical cuck behavior. And it's just like, and you could see her being like, I was watching it. It's very subtle, but doesn't it become so much more apparent when a guy's fucking up now?
That's it. And I think the biggest thing for me to be able to recognize, and in those situations we're looking at other people, but for me is that we've talked about this, is genuine desire from someone.
Yeah.
Now, it mightn't be available from the outset sometimes because you have to build the attraction, but after a certain amount of time, you will hopefully have that genuine desire there, and to be able to recognize that is so important, because you can waste time beyond that.
Because even if you do everything right, which most guys don't, but even if you do, you can still find a woman who's this into you, or this into you, right? It's just some women that just like, yeah, they tolerate your existence. It's the same thing with my ex-wife. Not that she's a bad person, but there was a fundamental lack of compatibility. Our values weren't the same, and it was just like, I felt tolerated, not desired. I was like, oh yeah, it's sure, look, he's all right. Dublin emphasis.
Fantastic Dublin accent.
Yeah, I'm channeling my inner Connor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, easy McGregor.
Yeah, exactly. Hilarious.
No, it's true, man. That's a big component of it. I think that's one of the biggest takeaways that I have anyway from the whole thing, and I fully believe that it applies across the board. And if there's ever a situation, which I haven't come across yet, where someone I know is in a relationship or with somebody, and I believe that there is very low amounts of desire, you know, you do feel compelled to go, my God.
I've said it to people. I've known people where a guy started dating a girl, and I'm not going to go into the attributes as to why right now, but a couple of weeks in, he was like, yeah, I'm very happy. I was like, I hope she breaks up with you. And he says, that's a horrible thing to say. Imagine he's Irish. I said it to him, right? He's like, that's a horrible thing to say. I was like, no, mark my words. It was like, I'll tell you later what the reasons were off camera. Yeah. But it was very apparent. And I said, I hope she breaks up with you. He says, it's a horrible thing to say. I was like, no, you got to move on because you're not listening to me. It's not good for you. And then over and over again, you can see it just goes to shit. And it goes to shit in one or two ways. Because sometimes they might stay together, but you can see he's a shell of himself. And I'm not one of those, I'm not saying that a man should dominate the woman in some weird tyrannistic sense. No, it should be a relationship on eye level. But how many guys in Ireland, in Germany, and like you see around the world where, yeah, they're in a relationship, but they're being pussy whipped. They're a shell of themselves. They're walking on eggshells.
Exactly. It's almost, this is going to sound a bit strange, but whilst my dating experience wouldn't have been extensive over the 20 years or so where I wasn't looking after myself, there was a lot of relationships I seen with friends of mine that I would rather have not been active in the dating pool than be in one of those. Yeah. I recognise those over the years, even with the lack of skills that I had. I still was able to recognize being pussy whipped. I think we all can.
Oh, 100%. I was.
Especially when you're not in a relationship and you see others, you're like, that person over there, because you're not in your own bubble.
Yeah.
But I'm actually still looking back. I'm rather I wasn't in one of those for 5, 8, whatever.
Oh,
many
for
years,
sure, 100%.
Than not being that active in the dating market.
Yeah. Now that can be, a lot of guys have this as a false dichotomy in their own head. I would rather be single than with the wrong woman. Yeah. But you can also just find somebody who's right for you, right? Because they say, it's either this or that. That is a false dichotomy. Now, one last thing, like people sometimes think it has to be so hard. It takes so much. They think sometimes changing their dating and their relationship life is this unbearable task, is this mountain they can't possibly climb. It actually wasn't that difficult, was it?
It's not a mountain at all, actually. It's one thing that I can only speak for Irish guys, because this is where I've grown up for most of my life. I did spend 5 years in Canada, so I suppose there is perhaps a Western mindset. But I think that guys put themselves into pigeonholes. Well, I think humans are like that a lot. They want to be part of a tribe or they categorize themselves. And guys will go, I'm just not the guy who gets the girl. Yeah. I'm not that guy. And they'll potentially have men and women tell them throughout their life, you're just not that guy. But believe me, you can be whatever type of guy that you want. Yeah. If you learn the right skills.
Yeah, you're the best example. Like the pictures you showed me, my goodness, 55, 60, 65 kilos in 14 months. Yeah. Unbelievable.
And so awesome. Thanks, so man. Sick. Much appreciated.
That is so sick. You look like a different person. Like you went from here to here. Unbelievable.
No, I really appreciate that, man. And everything with the dating skill set and what I've done in the program and everything I've learned was a massive part of it, because it's not just when you get a dating coach. The big aspect that's worked on is confidence. Yeah. It's like when I lost the weight, there's a natural increase in confidence. It's not like, over the next year, I want my confidence to go from 20% to 60%. It's not like that. Yeah. It, unbeknownst to you, it happens when you're learning skill sets in dating or anything else, or competency in anything, whether it be lifting weights, anything at all. There is a spike in your inner confidence, or your inner self. That happens, and it all compounds on top of each other. I can't say that this bit is the dating bit, that bit's the muscle bit, and then there's not a finished product, but there's a vastly more improved product. Yes. And you take that out into the world, and before you know it, you're walking in for a job interview, which you didn't even go get a job coach, for example, which you can get career coaches, but let's say you didn't, and you come out of the interview and go, holy shit, I've been doing interviews for the last 10 years and I just walked into this one and it was 200% better. Yeah. My posture was straight.
My energy, eye contact, vocal projection.
Exactly. Yeah. I kept eye contact with, wasn't looking at the wall to the side.
Yeah, it's just like...
Can you please give me the job?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
Or even that question you get, is there anything you want to ask us? And it's like, no, great, I'm sure you're the best company in the world. It's like, actually.
Yeah.
So what's this, do you guys have...
I read this article, what about that?
Yeah, I heard this about the company, or do you guys really have one of the better packages?
Yeah.
So that type of thing, you bring that with you into every aspect of your life. It spills over, So... don't compartmentalize it, but it actually is a huge part of it. It's for your dating life and finding a partner, but it will help you with your friends. It'll help you with your family. Everything. Absolutely everybody you encounter. It'll help you making new connections with people as well. So, absolutely take that leap. It's not as complicated. It's actually like the weight loss industry online as well. Everything is saturated with information and it's very hard to actually grab it all and put it into a structured manner.
Because there's so much bullshit out there as well.
Exactly. So coaches like yourself or coaches in any field will take the important information and structure it better in order to actually convey it to someone. instead of you trying to, no, I did this at the beginning. I was like, okay, that's YouTube dating, and that's where I came across snippets of you in the past. So like, it all has a roundabout way of correcting itself, but there's a lot of people out there, and you know, you can take the bits of information and trial and error. But with a coaching program, it's like, right, here's the set of activities to go through, 1, 2, 3, and you just execute them. It's not like you're not saying to me, Paul, here's 5 things to do. Let's see if 3 of them work. You're like, no, the 5 of them is what you need to do.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're looking at coaches online through, say, YouTube content, you can maybe go, right, well, I tried that, but that's not for me. You know, you can get a more of you look at me as a tailored approach, whereas content you're getting online as well is more general. It doesn't take into consideration, you know, me
and
as
our
a
own
person.
weird thoughts, because we have mindset problems that are stopping us, which are just thoughts, conscious or unconsciously held thoughts. I think I should do this. I think dating apps don't work. I think this. I think that. And you just correct a couple of thoughts, actions change, results change.
Yeah, exactly. So it's to people out there, it is, if I say this even about my journey so far in regards to everything, if I could literally download the feeling into some neuro link that will exist in the future,
It will.
if I could download the feeling, like the after feeling of learning all of these types of skill sets and what we're talking about in life, I would. Just so I can give you a 5-minute feeling of what it's like.
Yes.
So that you make the decision to go and take action with something. I would do it. And maybe that will be available in the future.
It will be this little piece of like experience of like this freedom of expression. You're in a conversation, you're not worried what she's gonna think, you're not worried whether this is gonna work out or not. You're just free, you let it flow, you're not stuck in your head. And then it just works. And then she responds so well to you. And you're like, whoa, she loves me. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's trying not to be the person you think the other person wants you to be.
Yeah.
Because first of all, when you're going on a first date, you're sitting across from somebody you've never met before. Even if you're expending that energy trying to be someone you're not, is the person you're sitting across from worth the energy you're expending to do that? It's not worth it at all. Be authentic about it, but also learn how to communicate yourself far better than you are, because if you're holding stuff back about yourself, look, eventually you start dating someone, you find out things about each other eventually anyway. So it's better off that if it has anything to do with deal breakers or how you want an eventual relationship to be, better off just communicating it. And get it out of the way and enjoy getting to know the person without going, oh, I haven't told her.
I hope she doesn't find out XYZ.
Yeah, it's like me telling people I'm dating about my journey, because they see me now.
And when they see the pictures, they cannot believe it. Wow. It's amazing. Yeah.
My girlfriend now, she's like, sees a photograph or a video of me before, I say, nah, that's not you.
But she says it in a very warm and like way. Because a lot of women or guys would be like, there would be a negativity. This negativity from a lot of people, or there wouldn't even be this appreciation. She looks at this and she goes, whoa. Like she has genuine respect and appreciation for the effort.
Oh my God, admiration for everything that I've done. And that's so important, because unfortunately, you're just not going to get that from every person that you date.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that you get negative reaction, but you mightn't get the reception to something you've done in your life the way you want.
Yeah, and you want some appreciation. Like I ask Fernanda for validation like a little child. I'm just like, give me some, like I did this. She's like, oh, I'm so proud of you. Come here, you know? Yeah. Like it's like that. And I like that shit, you know? It makes you feel good. And so as much as we always talk about like most people, they lack masculinity in their approach, more oomph, 100%. But I also allow myself to be feminine around Fernanda, because not all the time, but a bit obviously, because otherwise if I have to hold that back, then it's just like, oh, come here, I'm so proud of you, you know? But it's really cool if you sit there. Legit, this Monday, I woke up at 12:30 and I stopped working at 3 a.m. in the morning and I had an hour and a half break. I worked for 14 hours straight with a minimum break. I was exhausted by the end of that. And then where other women might go, oh, well, you work too much, you don't pay me any attention. She sits down and she goes, I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much. You know how awesome that is? Yeah. And it's like, most men don't have that appreciation and they're just being shit talked. Not because the woman is necessarily a bad person, but because she maybe she doesn't have her needs met. Oh, for whatever reason. But to find a man, like to find women or a woman and male friends who want to see you win is the most important thing.
That's it, and that's a very important point, is that everyone around you can actually get positive, neutral, or negative energy from anything that you do in your life. Now, the person that you decide to spend the most time with, your partner, your girlfriend, whatever it may be, getting that is fantastic, but also making big changes in your life, you will start to see shifting behavior with people that have been in your life for a long time. Or a new relationship, a new girlfriend, or someone you're dating is someone who has now come into your life on this day and sees me as Paul, this version of me. But going through changes in, so for example, if someone goes through your program and they learn a new skill set, they might bounce these ideas off people that have been in their life for a long time. And they'll go, no. They'll give you the conventional wisdom that is bandied.
Just be yourself. Just be more confident.
Yeah. Just if you like each other, then that's grand.
Yeah, just be rich.
Yeah, putting money first. Yeah. That's. I think that's a big one in society. It's I would have been, using physical things. Yeah. They're leading with money, I think is the term. Yeah.
Then you attract women who are particularly interested in the finances as opposed to in you.
Mosey, you get what you attract.
Yeah, you attract what you are. You don't attract what you want. And or not what you are, but what you currently identify as, and what you put out, and what you project, and what you lead with. If you lead with fun, playfulness, I don't want to say love because they're going to misconstrue it, but like positive energy, you're going to attract that. If you lead with, look at my watch, then you're going to find somebody who wants to watch more than other parts of you,
Yeah, exactly. Like you could go in and meet someone for the first time and go, try and weed around that potentially you have a nice car and go, yeah, I'm really into cars. I drive a Rolls Royce, but which I don't. That's like a Rolls Royce, by the way. Or you could be polite and drop the girl home and she discovers that you have a Rolls Royce. Exactly. By accident, yeah.
It's like, for example, she asks you, what do you do? Oh, I like, let's say one guy's like CEO of a business, okay, 400 people company or whatever. Oh yeah, I'm a CEO of a business. Oh, okay. Instead, if she asks you, what do you do? Yeah, I work in management. Oh, okay, cool. Like what type of company? Yeah, they do this. Like what exactly do you do? Yeah, like executive management. Okay, cool. Then maybe a day or two later she finds it out and she's like, holy fuck. He didn't even brag. That's not to say that we should hide it. Don't hide it, own it. But instead of just, it seems try hard. It seems like you're trying to impress her, and whenever you're trying to impress her, it doesn't work at all.
Yeah, people who have achieved anything in life, having a bit of humility about it is very important, because they will find out you are who you are.
Exactly.
But there's no need to there's no need to brag about it, because that in itself is not a very attractive trait.
Yeah. Exactly.
We've all experienced people around us in groups that do that.
Yeah. Now, interesting one for you here, because in Ireland that can go too far in the opposite direction, where people aren't proud to talk about their achievements at all, because because I've seen this where like Germans, they don't. I think they're somewhere in the middle. I would say they don't brag that much, but they're also not mega humble. They're just like unpleasant. No, I'm joking. I love my people, good people, just a bit serious, a bit stiff. No, awesome people, fuck's sake, but bit stiff.
We're all Europeans. We're all awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Great bunch of lads.
Good save, thank you. But in Ireland, it's like this idea of humility. I feel like can go too far, where people aren't even are worried about saying something with pride, not fake pride, real pride, where they've accomplished something, and then they're like, oh, your head's getting too big. But you see what I'm saying?
Exactly. There's a great analogy I love to use to describe that in particular is the crabs in a bucket analogy, where one tries to jump out and the others drag them back in.
Yeah.
There is that in the Irish psyche. I think it is fizzling ever so slowly.
It's getting less, huh?
It is, and I think along with a lot of things, because the modern Irish society is actually relatively new. You know, the older generations in Ireland, like that's where it sits. That's what's keeping a lot of that type of mentality there. Not saying it's good or bad. It just
is what it is.
It is there. I think people who, and we are a country of immigrants, we do travel a lot. But once we leave, I was in Canada for 5 years, and I definitely, that got jolted out of me over there. And when I came back, even long before all of the self-improvement journey that we're talking about and the skill sets we're talking about, I was coming back after living for 5 years and being, so in Canada I did X, Y, Z, and I got promoted here, there, and blah, 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 and without any filter. I was just saying.
How do people react when you do that?
Like,
mixed, huh?
Yeah, you're not gonna get the attaboy too much, but apart from my mother, God rest her, of course, she was proud as punch. You just have to care less about. You're basically just
care more about the right people's opinion.
Yeah,
because most people's opinion don't matter. Because you don't have the choice to not get judged. The only choice you have is who you want to get judged by. You're either going to get judged by losers for doing dating, fitness, getting a promotion, building a business. Because they're going to talk some shit, or you're going to get judged by winners for not doing it. Because there is a group of winners who do this, who do the approach, they're like, why the fuck aren't you doing this? Why aren't you taking personal development serious, right? Why aren't you doing this in business? Exactly. So you're always going to get judged. I would rather get judged by people who are doing something slightly unusual.
Exactly, and that's it. You need to just say it how it is, put it out there, and then you find over time the type of person that you want to direct your energy towards.
Same with male friends. Because, my goodness, I would argue that the reason most men aren't happy is because they don't have enough quality male friends. Like you see, like the guys that I hang out with, it's just like, it's real love. Like we really want to see each other win. There's no hostility, because when people make when we make jokes, it's so warm. There's a slag and we tease each other, we make fun of each other, but there's no ill intent. There's no ill intent ever. But like with guys, it's just like they're trying to get one over on you. It's really, like best example is Jonathan, right? He's the best person in the fucking world.
Very good example.
My goodness, amazing energy, wants to make everybody feel good around him. We tease each other, we slag each other like fucking hard, but it comes from such a warm place. And when you tell a friend about, hey, I want to do this business, I want to do this, I want to do dating, if their first instinct is like, nah, they don't really want to see you win. No. Their first instinct should be, hey, awesome that you're trying something new. Let's evaluate the validity of this together.
Yes, that's true. So I'm not saying there was nobody in my life so far that wasn't, very positive about anything that I was saying. Definitely, I have had people in my life like that. But it's a very, very, very small fraction. Yeah. And the last few years has definitely made me think, and especially since moving to Dublin last year. And so as part of your program, meeting people in your circle, like Jonathan, you realise when you do get that type of comment about something that has positive that has happened in your life, and you basically get that encouragement, and that's it. It's nothing else. There's no underhanded, because you don't have to be told something. You just have to look at how somebody's reacting or how somebody says something.
It was just that anyway, especially when you tell Jonathan. Did you tell Jonathan about the weight loss ever? Yeah, and how was his reaction? Bro, amazing. Probably something like that, right? Yeah, that type of energy.
Because I've gotten coaching from him in the dancing scene
awesome.
as
cool.
well.
Yeah,
so. We do talk a lot about self-improvement and stuff, and he's at a very impressive journey himself.
Oh yeah.
And that's it. It's surrounding yourself with like-minded people and people who've gone through similar things you've gone through, and they can understand.
Yeah.
But also just making sure that you surround yourself with the right people who are supporting you, who don't want to see you win, as you say. It's a great feeling, and I'd say I've seen more and more of that in the last year. The last year has been like to the moon for me, And it's like when you were saying you don't know what you don't know, it's amazing the people out there and the types of people that exist that I didn't know existed.
Yeah, yes.
The
Because
types
I
of
come from a
people.
3,000 people village in Germany. Literally 3,000 people.
Similar village to where I grew up, yeah.
You can imagine how narrow-minded life was. And then you look back on some of that. My goodness. And not that they're bad. It's not about that they're bad people. They're good people. It's just a very different type of life that I want to live. And they're not exposed to Audible, personal development books, coaching. They're not exposed to that now, probably with the internet more so, right? But back in the day, my goodness, none of that. It was very suppressive type of thinking.
That's it. And what I love about being alive in 2024 or in recent years is that any question you have about your life that you want answered, you can Google it. Now, it's not that all the information that's going to come up is going to be like the right information from the outset. You do have to filter through it. Yeah. But you can start to get some answers very quickly, and there's actually no rock to hide under with any obstacle that you have in your life now. I'm not saying everybody has a big self-improvement journey to go on, but certainly...
Well, most people do.
Yeah, it's like you can tackle any of these different departments and go for it. Yeah. You know, take one at a time.
Start with whichever one's causing the most amount of pain or whatever you want to do most first, and then look at the other ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Take a holistic view and do a bit of everything.
That's why I care so much about having personal development, good habits, and no alcohol and all of that. Because in essence, it's you talk to people and you feel at home in the world. That's what this does. I want people to feel at home in the world, but you can only feel at home in the world. You can feel really happy when you're around people. Yeah. Around the right types of people. Because oftentimes when people feel bad, Joanne Hari wrote a book, The Real Cause for Anxiety and Depression, is lost connections. Number one, there's many reasons, but the number one is a lack of quality social contact. And people think, oh, you just spend a little bit of time with people. Yeah, but our brain was made so that we're supposed to spend time with people 24/7. 24/7, we used to have a tribe around us, hundreds of thousands of years ago. 24/7. Oh, I'm an introvert. Yeah, go chew on your leaves over there while we're over there. But it's like in the Middle East or in other places in the world, the family lives together. Or you have a house and then your parents live next door. Or the cousins live here. I love that shit. I think it's so cool. I definitely want that at some point. Because it's so nice to just have, like my friends, I want them around me, have them around me all the time. You know, because it's just so cool. Yeah, Fernando, obviously, but then also that. And that's how we're made to be. And that's when we're happy. And that's when problems also feel small, when we're around people. The most amount of suffering we experience is when we're alone. Is not when we're with people.
Yeah, and there was a point in time where I'd say the most alone that I ever felt was when I was at my unhealthiest. I was living in the 25th floor of an 80-story condominium tower, downtown Toronto, corporate district, city of 7 million people, and I was alone. You know, I was obese, I was, 300 pounds weight, and I was more introverted because I had put myself in that, just with not feeling good and not feeling like I was, able to do certain activities that people are going to do, fitness activities. Let's go for a run. No running. Let's go for a cycle. No cycling. I wasn't involving myself in anything. I was going for the after work pints. Absolutely. You'll see me there, no problem. But other than that, just a bad spiral. So yeah, you can be surrounded by people, but you need to actually have people in your life that you're surrounded by.
And you need to make male friends as well. That's what they don't understand. You have to take action because there's people out there who are waiting for people like us, but they're not taught the information that they actually have to go and make friends, because up until that point, they've met most of their friends circumstantially through school, university, their job. And then you realize, okay, 9 out of 10 people at my job I don't actually really like. If we're honest. They're good people maybe, but I'm not like that. It's okay, but it's not really good. So you need to go to bachata and salsa. So you need to go to a gym and ask people, like guys out there, hey, yo, can you spot me? Go to a martial arts gym, and then actually just invite people out. Create events where you throw little parties. This is so important. It's what we're meant to do, and it's when we feel at our most best because our brain releases oxytocin, cortisol goes down, being around other high testosterone men actually increases testosterone.
Yeah, I've learned that a lot, and living in a big city helps. That's one of the reasons I moved to Dublin, because there's places where you can meet people that are like-minded, and you know, even the places that you are going on a daily basis, you meet someone who's in that same location, therefore, like they're already doing something that they're going to your gym, they're going to your yoga studio. It's already set up. Just say hello, have a conversation, spark it up. It can go somewhere, it can not go
And
somewhere.
9 out of 10 times it won't. That's the funny thing. But you know, 9 out of 10 times I talk to somebody, or 7 out of 10 times, whatever the fuck it is, it won't go anywhere. But that 1 out of 10, that 19, that 1 out of 20, that's the diamond. You only need 1 or 2 additional male friends over the next 3 to 6 months to double your happiness. That's a fact.
That's it. That's it. And you will, if it's in a health and fitness context or a place like that, you will come across, say if you don't drink alcohol or you don't go on late nights out, you rather do something during the day, the chances are you're going to meet somebody who will do the same activity.
Yeah.
So that's where it is. It's like if you're into health and fitness, going to try and make a friend at 3 a.m. in Coppers in Dublin, for example, it's, you know, it's not going to be the case. Or even by nature, trying to meet someone who is like-minded or doesn't stay out late at the weekends on a Sunday morning. If you're even anywhere at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. in the morning,
That's a genius point. Yeah.
you know, people weren't out the night before because both people are not hungover.
Yeah.
So say hello.
Yeah. It's amazing. And then you meet people like your girlfriend, for example, or other quality people who have same habits where you can build a sustainable life together.
Exactly. It's getting yourself out there in the context of dating, socializing, and getting the experience and talking to people, opening up conversations, and eventually you will learn how to, filter through that process and find people that have the same habits, characteristics, and who just tie in very well with who you are and your life. So it's
Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
thanks for all your help, man. Much appreciated. Thanks for having me.
Sure thing. So, if you're thinking about doing this, click the link under this video, apply for a free call, and we'll get in touch.